Hello and welcome to the newly refurbished Hamilton Airport, which unofficially opened around a week before this flight. Check-in desks are on the southern side of the terminal. I'm flying a new airline for me today, and this is the first review of it on YouTube. Check-in closes 40 minutes prior to our 9:30 departure time. I'm flying to Nelson today via Palmerston North and checked in for both flights in Hamilton. I'm a big fan of the newly refurbished terminal, which includes a larger upstairs departure lounge. We'll explore the terminal a little later, but here's my aircraft arriving from Palmerston North. Let's quickly explore the new terminal in Hamilton. On the northern side of the terminal is the new Propeller Cafe. There is a large amount of new seating, and the extended upstairs area has a nice view of the check-in, which can provide some entertainment. Boarding began shortly after. Boarding passes are checked by hand before proceeding to the aircraft. My aircraft today is a 30.4-year-old Jetstream 32 registered Zulu Kilo Juliet Sierra Juliet. This aircraft joined the Origin Air fleet in 2021. Origin Air installs new interiors on the aircraft, so this interior is only around 1.5 years old.
Harry 6A is on the left hand side down the back.
Sweet, thank you. My seat for today is 06 Alpha, the last seat on the left hand side with an incredible amount of legroom. There are 18 seats on this Jetstream 32 in a 1-2 layout. Seats on the left hand side are by far the best, as you get even more legroom than the ones on the right hand side, and there is only one seat. After the co-pilot stood up in front of the cabin and made a safety briefing, we started up and taxied to runway 18 left. You'll notice the windows on this aircraft are tinted purple. This is because the aircraft was built for American Eagle, and tinted windows were installed to prevent the interior from fading and passengers getting burnt in the hot American sun. I'll edit the footage to take out as much of the purple tint as I can. Sit back, relax, and enjoy the rocketing takeoff out of Hamilton. Origin Air has done up this aircraft very nicely. The wall panels are nice and clean, so let's take a look around the Jetstream 32 cabin. There are 6 rows of seats, and at the rear of the plane there is even a toilet, which is quite cramped, but it does the job. I will now go over the seat features on board this Jetstream 32 aircraft. The tray table folds down from the seat in front and is a nice size for a laptop. There is a large seat back pocket containing safety card, sick bag and Nelson magazine. The legroom is incredibly generous. I can't find any info about the seat pitch, but a guess would be around 34 inches or 86 centimeters. There is no window blinds for the massive windows. In the overhead panel, there is an individual adjustable air vent and reading light. The seats themselves are Origin Air colours, grey leather with yellow stitching, and are very comfortable. In an attempt to show you how large these windows really are, here is a side-by-side comparison of the Jetstream window versus the ATR 72 window. Shortly after passing Mount Ruapehu, we began our bumpy descent into Palmerston North. Here there is a quick aircraft change onto Origin Air's only Jetstream 31 before the very scenic flight to Nelson. Welcome to Palmerston North. We have around 15 minutes before the flight to Nelson boards, so let's go check out the terminal. Palmerston North's airport terminal is massive. The airport used to have international service by Freedom Air, a subsidiary of Air New Zealand, until 2008. Origin Air has check-in desks on the left-hand side of the main entrance. I would show you around more, but it was already time to board.
See ya. Good morning, Origin Air would like to welcome guests traveling on flight OG322, service bound for Nelson. Your aircraft is now ready for boarding through gate number 4. Please ensure mobile devices are not on flight. Thank you.
Right. Thank you. Thank you very much. The first, the aircraft on the right.
Yep, thank you.
There's a button. Yep.
Here is my aircraft for the next hop of the day. It is a 34-year-old Jetstream 31 registered Zulu Kilo Juliet Sierra Hotel. This was Origin Air's first aircraft and came into the fleet in 2015. Once again I am seated in 06 Alpha. This aircraft came to New Zealand from the UK, so there are no tinted windows. We took off to the west on runway 25 and crossed over the Tasman Sea near Foxton Beach, before zigzagging our way through the Cook Strait and onwards to Nelson. The seat features on board the Jetstream 31 are largely the same as the Jetstream 32, but I'll point out the differences. There is a cup holder above the tray table, which is quite pointless as there's no in-flight service. In the overhead panel, my light was broken and not adjustable like on the 32. For seat 06 Alpha, the legroom is slightly less, but it's still plentiful on the Jetstream 31, an estimated 31 inches or 79 centimeters. And of course, Origin Air's nice leather seats are found throughout the fleet. The flight from Palmerston North to Nelson is around 20 minutes shorter than the 1-hour flight from Hamilton. We departed Palmerston North 2 minutes early at 11:08 and landed at 11:49, 11 minutes ahead of schedule. Let's conclude this flight with Origin Air. For an aircraft this size, the seat features and legroom are incredible. Origin Air Jetstreams have individual air vents which I love. In seat 6A, the legroom on the Jetstream 32 is insane, and on the Jetstream 31 has similar or more legroom than an Air New Zealand turboprop. The best thing about the A seats as opposed to the B or C seats is that the cabin feels large not having a seat right next to you. On the second flight, 17 of the 18 seats were occupied and it didn't seem crowded at all. Not to forget the massive windows to enjoy the views. The seat earns a 10 out of 10, an incredible economy seat on a tiny plane, Origin Air, clean, modern and comfy. Unfortunately, there was no meal on board, so I've decided to no longer include that in the rating of the flights that don't have them. After all, a meal wasn't necessary on such short flights. The service is difficult to give a rating on with no flight attendant. However, the service that passengers receive on the ground is very good and helpful. Tickets are checked by hand and safety briefings were done by the first officer standing in front of the cabin. Origin Air has done a good job at attempting to make the ground service make up for the lack of in-flight service. The service receives a 7 out of 10. For in-flight entertainment, Origin Air offers the Nelson magazine, but other than that your entertainment is whatever you brought with you. The real entertainment, however, is the massive windows for soaking in the views. IFE scores a 4 out of 10. The Origin Air experience from Hamilton to Nelson via Palmerston North on the Jetstream 31 and 32 receives a score of 7 out of 10. A good flight. Now enjoy the landing into Nelson.
Flight deck, welcome to Nelson. Just ask you to remain seated, please. Once we shut the engines down, I'll be back to open that door, then we can be on the way. And your baggage will be available in the terminal building fairly shortly thereafter. Do trust you enjoyed the flight with us today. Thanks for choosing to fly with Origin Air. All the very best for the remainder of the day here in lovely sunny Nelson.
Thank you very much. Thanks, mate. Have
Thank
a great
you.
day.
I will.
See ya.
Welcome to Nelson. I look forward to seeing you all next week for an adventure on board Air New Zealand's Boeing 787 in Premium Economy, and then the following week for the highly anticipated Australasia Live Tour, where I'll be live streaming at 6 airports across Australia and New Zealand over 8 days starting on the 15th of April. Thank you for watching.